A local tragedy has caused hot tub owners to be a lot more vigilant about proper maintenance. 8 days ago, 2 people died from Legionnaire's disease, and they probably got it after soaking in their recently purchased tub.
Full test results are not in yet, but health officials say there is no reason to panic.
It is easy to see from the way the yard and garden is kept that Miro and Anna Katelis of Burnaby enjoyed their home and retirement. About 3 weeks ago, they bought a hot tub. Relatives and neighbors say the tub was well used, but apparently it wasn't well maintained. Burnaby health officials say that is a factor in the couple contracting Legionnaire's disease.
From what we gather, the couple were maintaining the hot tub initially when they first purchased the hot tub about 3 weeks ago, but they were not maintaining it subsequent to that.
Shum says water from the tub did contain the Legionella bacteria. The tests also showed the water did not contain disinfectant of any kind, neither chlorine nor bromine. That would have saved their lives.
It's an infection of the lungs. It's a pneumonia caused by an organism that is a bacterium, and it has to be inhaled into the lungs and causes a kind of classic picture of pneumonia. Some people get a more severe case than others.
Quite simply, the test kit tells you, add more chlorine or bromine to your spot. So
to prevent such infection, just keep up the levels of disinfectant in your hot tub as your manufacturer recommends. Test it every day. If you're still concerned, bring a water sample to a service center that will test it for you. Along with scores of other tub owners, that's what Trevor and Linda Davies of Aldergrove did today.
No, we've only been running it about 3 weeks, so we wanted to make sure that it was running properly, that we weren't going to be a statistic like those people in Burnaby.
Keeping up disinfectant levels in your tub is really the only line of defense, according to Burnaby's chief medical health officer, who otherwise defends the integrity of the community's water supply.
And Burnaby's chief medical officer was busy tonight giving a full report to Burnaby Council. The health department is currently testing the city's water supply for the Legionella bacteria, but officials say there is no reason for public concern about the city's water.
There has been only presumptive evidence through a preliminary test that there may be bacteria present, which would not be surprising. But
that's not unusual?
It's probably not unusual to find the bacteria in water generally.
Your reaction to people who would be concerned about the possibility about health risks?
At this point in time, there certainly is no public health risk affiliated with the water in Burnaby or the Greater Vancouver Regional District.
What would you do if your brakes fail while you're driving in heavy traffic? A motorist had to make that decision this afternoon, and as far as public safety goes, he made the right choice. Steve Marshall's Volkswagen ended up on its side after swerving into a lane off East 12th Avenue. The hard-luck driver was almost at Commercial Drive when his brakes gave out completely. Rather than ram into traffic at the corner, he tried to cut into an alley. Ironically, Marshall was on his way to a garage to have his brakes checked when he went for his little ride.
A summer job, it's good work if you can get it. With the unemployment rate in double figures across the country, you can imagine what it's like for students. But all is not lost. Here's at least a couple of places that have found some measure of success, and others who say you can find it for yourself.
Malcolm considers himself lucky. In a tight economy with high unemployment, he's one student who's found a way to make a buck this summer. He's part of the highly successful Odd Job Squad, an idea of Burnaby's Student Employment Center. Is it really hard this summer for many of your friends, though?
Yeah, I've seen some of they've applied for like 15 jobs, and then, yeah, I suppose at the 15th time they finally get jobs, but, you know, not such good work.
Despite all the bad news about summer employment, job postings here are actually up, some 59%. Despite less government incentives this year to hire students, this job center convinced local businesses in Burnaby that hiring students made good economic sense.
There's a few incentives for employers to hire students, and number one being that you're getting a person who is very enthusiastic, energetic, and that's willing to perform the job.
So I heard you guys also can do mock interviews?
Yeah, we do mock interviews, and we also...
Over at UBC, a high-tech approach called Jobline is connecting people with paychecks by using the phone.
Thank you for calling. Please note that today's new jobs are listed under sections 1, 2, and 3
It's a first for the university, in fact, a first for Canada, having employers call in job openings and students listen for the work they want. But for those who can't find a job this summer, there is another alternative. That means being a little risky and starting your own business. Now, Jana is one of the entrepreneurs that has done that this summer with Walkabout, which is a way to explore Vancouver on foot and learn interesting things like...
Well, here we are at Jackson and Pender, and the building behind us, which was built in 1983, replaced a church that was built in 1894.
Jana has researched everything about our city to cash in on the tourist trade. And she says for those students who can't find work or don't like what they find, creating your own job is ultimately the best way to go.
Now, getting a job is important, but some of the younger generation have found another calling. They've become what you might call grassroots lobbyists, with a burning desire to have marijuana legalized. Today, this small group of teens brought their message to City Hall, but they probably shouldn't hold their breath. As one councillor pointed out, it's not really something under municipal jurisdiction anyway.
Kind of got destroyed in the weather.
We are dealing with a federal law here, so as far as I know, there's very little that council can do, even if we wanted to do anything.
Now to a group of Canadians who sometimes have trouble inhaling even the freshest breath of air, those who suffer from asthma. Adam and Craig are two of an estimated 1 million Canadians who are asthmatic. It usually begins in childhood, but can develop at any age. Medication helps, but at this point, there's no known cure. Experts say what's needed is research. That's why asthma sufferers in BC might breathe a little easier today after an announcement at St. Paul's Hospital.
Vice President of the Medical Research
What the Asthma Centre is going to do is it's going to allow a much better province-wide asthma education process to be put in place for both physicians and patients and keep people out of hospital.
The center comes after a Ciba Pharmaceuticals company made a $550,000 donation to help establish the center. It will conduct and coordinate clinical trials of advanced medications and treatments. It's expected to become fully operational this fall. The trial promises to be a shocking one. A husband and wife stand accused of grabbing two teenage girls off the streets of southern Ontario and killing them. Paul Teal is charged with murdering Kristen French and Leslie Mahaffey, but today it was his wife Karla that went on trial first for the lesser charge of manslaughter. Karla Teal has been hiding until now under a doctor's care. She will plead guilty this week to manslaughter charges and will likely testify against her husband. In an unusual move, the lawyer for Paul Teal vigorously opposed a ban on publication in Karla's case, saying a gag order could hurt his client and hide the truth about her role in the two murders. The Crown does want the ban, and while it might stop the media, it won't prevent a throng of spectators from hearing the details.
This is the day St. Catharines has been waiting for. Media started lining up outside Karla Homolka's house at 5 o'clock in the morning. 4 hours later, Homolka was bundled into the back of a police van and on her way to St. Catharines Court. Outside the courthouse, dozens of people were already lined up, waiting for a glimpse of Homolka. Why did they care?
Just curious about how she's involved. There's all kinds of rumors going around, you know. Horrible, horrible rumors.
Court officials handed out numbers to make sure there was no pushing nor shoving.
We're not going anywhere. It's only 7:30 in the morning.
Finally, shortly before 10 in the morning, the long lineup began to go in, but many who'd lined up hours before were left out on the sidewalk.
Well, we can always try again after lunch, I guess, or come back tomorrow.
Are you disappointed?
Yeah, in a way.
Who are we hoping to see?
Justice.
And many will line up here early tomorrow for another glimpse of St. Catharines' trial of the century.
I think they're going to be sorry if they hear all the details. It's a horrifying case. Coming up on 2330, back to Iraq. The American military locks on to its favorite target.
Once again, that and a whole lot more when we come back, so stick around.
I'm wearing my pajamas. Hot potato. It's tickling my mind. I can't hear you. Here on this mountain top. I got some wine.
For course information and start dates, call 682-6600.
Congratulations, you're a winner.
If this happens to you this summer, you could win this 1993 Oldsmobile Achieva, or a Fiesta West trip to Belize, or this Adidas pullover, instantly. So if a Coors Light can talks to you, call this number before you start screaming.
Tension headaches this bad need a pain reliever this good. New extra strength Darnitol with Easomigrant.
It keeps going and going and going. Energizer. Absolutely nothing lasts longer.
Now you can enjoy the drink that's been on every Russian space mission. Sputnik, made with 10% real beet juice and 20.
It keeps going and going. Energizer. Absolutely nothing lasts longer.
Weather update brought to you by Ashia Mode, a graceful experience in fashion elegance featuring KS, Mundy, Simon Chang, and many more fine lines.
For the people of Baghdad, it must seem like a bad case of deja vu. This weekend, the U.S. Navy fired cruise missiles into the Iraqi capital, and more American warships are now heading for the Persian Gulf, all because of an Iraqi plot to kill George Bush.
The Iraqis are playing up the 3 cruise missiles which slammed into residential areas, killing 8 people. They have not allowed anyone to see the real target of the U.S. attack, Iraq's intelligence service headquarters. Baghdad lost no time in broadcasting pictures of the wounded to the outside world. Commentators here say Bill Clinton is as bad as arch-enemy George Bush when it comes to harming innocent civilians. Diplomats from the country still maintaining relations with Baghdad were taken to see the damage to residential areas here. Iraq is in no position to retaliate against the U.S. for the missile attack, so it's doing all it can to gather sympathy from the few friends it has left. At funerals for 6 of those killed, mourners shouted the predictable rhetoric against America and against President Bill Clinton, but they also chanted slogans expressing growing frustration with their own government, which is helpless against the U.S. and its coalition partners, and powerless to ease the economic sanctions which are choking this country. Iraq continues to distance itself from plotters now on trial in Kuwait for attempting to assassinate George Bush. Iraq claims the whole exercise was fabricated by the Kuwaitis and the CIA as part of America's strategy to control the oil wealth of the Middle East. Tonight, Iraqi television ran pictures of a live fire exercise on its main news bulletin. The government here is trying hard to persuade its people that it's still capable of defending them from enemies determined to petition this country and grab its oil. Saddam Hussein hasn't been seen in public since the attack. He's issued no threats of retaliation, no calls for a holy war. He and the rest of Iraq had no idea the missiles were coming.
And the fighting continues in Somalia. Helicopter gunships opened fire right above the spot where a Pakistani peacekeeper had just been killed in a sniper attack. So far, 30 peacekeepers have been shot dead by Somali gunmen. Today was the second major attack on UN troops in just 24 hours.
He claims it's the naked truth, but in fact, it's a pack of lies. But anyone who's a fan of the Naked Gun movies will probably find the book hilarious. Today, some of them had a chance to meet the author himself.
Naked Randy. Naked Randy. Get naked Randy. Get naked Randy.
It's Leslie Nielsen blogging his book, The Naked Truth. Hundreds of fans lined up at a local mall for a signing session today. They were there to meet the film star, who, although has become famous for his recent comedies, has played the heavy in dozens of movies. Some of his lesser-known exploits outlined in the book. He taught James Dean how to act, and he was completely edited out of Lawrence of Arabia despite his convincing portrayal of Lawrence's homosexual lover.
It's official. The Fox radio station has been around for 25 years. And we can only hope that when 2330 has been around that long that we get something this good.
Just the other day, came through the world in the usual way, but there are planes to catch and bills to pay. You learn to walk while
2330, the province, and 99.3 The Fox have temporarily set aside our differences and banded together to bring you what will certainly be, if nothing else, an unforgettable event known simply as Fox Fest. That's right, Ugly Kid Joe, Sven Galley, April Wine. We're particularly proud of that one. Raw Ted, Tom Cochran, and Def Leppard all in one giant rock and roll display, Saturday, July 3rd, Seabird Island. Now here is the good bit. We have free double passes available for the first 5 callers with the correct answer to our stimulating trivia question. Name the Ugly Kid Joe song that became part of Wayne's World, part of the Wayne's World soundtrack. Know the answer? Stimulated yet? Then call us at 280-2588 right now. Don't delay. Operators are standing by. If you're not a big trivia fan, then don't fear. You too can be stimulated. Simply make your way to a fax machine and send your name and a number where we can find you during the day to 876-3100. Your name will be carefully placed in the official cardboard box. If you're not contacted by Friday, then it's a good bet you lost.
A person's past always has potential to become embarrassing, especially if they take pains to try and hide it. Like movie actors, for example. Sly Stallone never talks about his big screen debut when he wore nothing but gold chains. In fact, you could write a book about the number of stars who'd like to forget their past. So, of course, someone has.
What madness is this?
That is probably what Paul Newman was thinking when he saw himself on the big screen for the first time in 1954's The Silver Chalice. Newman, in fact, was so embarrassed by the film that he took out ads urging people not to see it. But almost 40 years later, it's still around.
There's nothing he can do about it. Everyone knows that it's on video. You can rent it and see it. Other people have tried to stop their movies from coming out on video, and they've just been unsuccessful. But Paul Newman's is a famous case.
As a film critic for the New York Daily News, Jamie Bernard came up with the idea for her book First Films while conducting her own celebrity interviews. But not everyone feels a need to forget their debut. For instance, that's Sharon Stone teasing Woody Allen in 1980's Stardust Memories.
Sharon Stone would be very proud to have a Woody Allen movie as her first movie. Then you have someone like Sylvester Stallone, who also lists a Woody Allen movie as his first one, Bananas, when in fact he was in a softcore porn movie before that, A Party at Kitty and Studs.
I was thinking about Southern California the other day.
What?
By the way, that pre-Rocky skin flick was renamed The Italian Stallion after Stallone hit it big. Then there's Madonna. Yes, that is Madonna. A Super 8mm student film would have most likely just disappeared had she not turned into a superstar.
As I've told you, I'm Hercules, the son of Zeus.
Arnold Schwarzenegger spoke English so much better in his first film, Hercules in New York.
People make fun of Schwarzenegger's accent today, but it was so bad at the beginning of his career that they dubbed the entire movie.
And who would have dreamed that with a debut like that, he would ever be back?
Okay, close your eyes, stay flat, and don't move.
Margaret, I'm sleeping bad enough to deserve to go to her house. She's a lunatic. I'll go crazy.
Why did you get married? Was it all trumpets and fireworks and...
I got married because Betsy said we had to break up or get married. So we got married.
Turn the light off.
Turn the light off!
Still ahead on 2330, Captain Lyle Wolfe. He's just a big kid, really.
He's living out his dream as master of the pond. We'll explain when we return. Like the master of the pond.
demands safe brakes. Shortstop Brake and Muffler, the safe brake place.
Are you ready to have some fun? Talk live, one-on-one with men and women from all across the country. Call the dating game at 1-809-563-0063. Someone special is waiting to speak with you right now. How about some crazy group conversations? Try the new party line at 1-809-544-CHAT. It's the only place in town to speak with dozens of men and women who just want to party. Toll charges apply.
Right now, Mazda has air to spare with air conditioning or equivalent credit on 323, MX-3 Presidia and Protege, the sporty MX-6 Mystère, the stylish 626 Kronos, Canada's #1 selling import pickup truck, and the family-sized MPV.
Time now for our favorite part of the show, when intrepid reporter Dave Gerry goes beyond the fringe.
I love that. I love that.
This time he ended up east of Fort Langley. Apparently, somebody had a ferry for sale, and it somehow ended up there on a farm. And that's where Dave found a man named Captain Wolfe and a big ship on a small pond.
I met this big kid the other day. Big, lanky kid with weathered skin and a winning smile. He was playing with a boat and asked if I'd like to play too. I told him my name, and he told me his. It was Lyle. Lyle Wolfe, Captain Lyle, master of the pond.
Hard to starboard. We might see the Fraser from there, the Fraser River, if we're lucky, but there's a big, huge beaver dam up there. It could stop us.
It's been close to 30 years since Lyle Wolfe spent some time at sea. He had a 6-month stint on a fisheries department patrol boat out of Victoria. 6 long, nauseating months.
Lots of seasickness going on there, and the doctor told me you better get off.
Yeah, he said you're just not cut out.
That's right, yeah. So,
you can kind of have your cake and eat it here.
Well, this is it.
So this is as much open water as Captain Lyle really needs. About a year ago, he spotted an ad in a local newspaper. Someone was giving away a ferry, a 28-foot-long plywood model of a BC ferry that had spent all of its life dry docked, on display in a pub. Lyle leapt to the rescue, brought her here, built some floats, and now he plies the pond, past his moose, past his train, past the pink flamingos that forage for frogs along the playful perimeter. The first cruise must have been very exciting.
Oh, yeah.
There's a big tadpole right there.
Yeah, he still got his tail on yet, yeah.
A trip with Captain Lyle is anything but uneventful. The big ferry's 9-horsepower engine, which sputters and smokes below deck like something from a Stephen King novel, while Lyle steers with his feet, is in constant need of maintenance.
Been a problem here with the propeller. We run into a lot of debris in the water. So I've got to put a new shear pin in.
What are we doing now?
Forward! Oh, my. Oh, the fuel line come on down here.
Captain Lyle is a mechanic.
Oh, Lyle.
But when he's not ashore, caring for some carburetor, you'll probably find him here, at the helm, tooting the horn, which he activates by touching a wire to a battery, or spouting the salty language of the sea.
We're back to aft over against the channel, and we'll return.
If you're really lucky, you can be there when she docks, when that long line of little cars is waiting on the wharf.
Well, that's traffic. The ferry's going to come around in half an hour or so. The schedule will pick them all up.
You're going to load them in, are you?
Yeah, we're going to load them.
Yeah. Did you get your medication this morning, Lyle?
Born in February, and I'm a Pisces. And Pisces are always dreamers. So what can I say?
Nothing, Captain Lyle. There's no need to explain. Yours is the spirit of play, the little boy inside the man. And we, who have grown too old, too fast, salute you.
A beautiful piece of work.
Fabulous.
He does very well reporting upside down, too.
Yeah, well, it's
unflappable, that Dave Gerry.
Here is the answer to the Ugly Kid Joe trivia question. It was, you know this one? Everything about you. That was the answer. If you didn't win tonight, you can always fax us at 876-3100 or tune in tomorrow.
Or tomorrow.
Or tomorrow.
Yeah, a few more sleeps and you might get in there yet.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night.
There are a lot of frustrations in the job.
Among other things, Don Watson is in charge of the phone system at the Canadian Standards Association.
People rely on me to provide a quality service.
When the CSA moved into their new building, Don also decided to move to a new supplier for their new telecommunications needs.
BCTEL has done a lot for making their long-distance prices and services a lot more competitive.
If your organization expects high standards from you and your telecommunications supplier, put BCTEL to the test.
Hi, Jeremy.
Photo, pharmacy. These from the games? Books, video.
Hi, Jenny. It's Jen, the book you ordered.
Cosmetics, jewelry.
Great. I love it.
Low prices, great service, knowledgeable people. Save on Foods is more than just a place to buy groceries.
Oh, forgot to buy film.
We're your photo, cosmetic, and bookstore, all under one roof. Nobody offers you more for less, and with a smile. We guarantee it.
They sure do.
Thanks, Jenny.
Molson Canadian Rocks presents the Fox Fest. Saturday, July 3rd at Seabird, Iowa. See together.